What's going on, everybody? It is 12:12 p.m. Thursday, July 8th, 2021. We have a lot to go over, so let's get into this. Breaking news. Coinbase CEO says China's digital yuan is a threat to the U.S. reserve currency. Believes that it represents a threat to the U.S. reserve money status long term if the U.S. doesn't move fast to create its own. There is an article here that I will be sharing in the description, but I want to go over just this part. He said in the beginning of his speech or whatever, I spent most of this week in D.C. meeting with members of Congress and heads of various federal agencies. The goal was to establish relationships and help answer questions about crypto and to see what we can do to help the U.S. get more regulatory clarity in this space as part of the newly formed Crypto Council for Innovation. So, regulatory clarity. That's what we're always talking about, guys. More regulatory clarity. It's some people see it as a negative. I personally do not. Hong Kong CBDC project looks to commercialize for cross-border payments. Eddie Yu, I guess, CEO of Hong Kong's Monetary Authority, lays out the future of the territory's digital currency at a Hong Kong Academy of Finance event. I'm not going to read all this, but they are ramping up, and I think it is worth a read. I just don't want this video to consist of my voice droning on and on and on. China plans to crack down on domestic companies listed on U.S. exchanges. Although China's latest move may not come as a surprise, market analysts believe it could threaten both the IPO sector and the popular Chinese ADR market. Again, I'm not going to read that whole thing. Definitely worth checking out. I'm just showing you guys what some of these headlines are revolving around China. Here we are in Squawk Box. This is Mike Novogratz talking about Bitcoin consolidating and some other things, and then he goes into a little bit of how he sees things with China, and I agree. Check this out.
Pullback in day in a lot of asset classes, and as usual, crypto goes along with it. There's no non-correlation that's really ever been demonstrated, I don't think. So that's a given that it's down. Have you been gratified that 30 seems to have held a couple of times, and the new range seems to be, I'm talking Bitcoin, the new range seems to be at 30 to 35,000?
Yeah, we're consolidating it here between 30 and 35. And what we're seeing is Asia sells it off, and then the U.S. buys it back. We're seeing new money flow into crypto funds, to venture funds, to hedge funds. And so there was lots of buying at the beginning of the month, and you saw altcoins, Ethereum, a bunch of the other coins besides Bitcoin have really good moves. And then the Asians continue to sell, right? I mean, China's declared war on crypto as part of this broader Cold War that we're getting into. And so I think that we're still digesting that.
Mike Novogratz is a smart man, and he talks about the broader Cold War that we are getting into. I'm a firm believer of that, people. I have a clipping from the Wall Street Journal from 2018, I believe it was either March or May. That's in my office framed right now, and it's about the AI arms race, and it's about the West versus the East, basically, in this technological Cold War race to the finish line type thing. And it's interesting. Maybe I'll take a shot of that and post it in one of the videos. If you can look it up, it is very interesting. I'll try to find it. Anyway, China beats Google to claim the world's most powerful quantum computer. That is intense. I was not able to get into this article very much, but I've seen several other ones. It shouldn't be too hard to find something covering it. But that's a big deal, people. Keep in mind that some of these cryptocurrencies have focused on becoming quantum-proofed algorithms and stuff like that. So this is a big thing, and it leans into this. Digital asset investor says, is it possible that China now wants to let the U.S. have all the Bitcoin mining because they now have quantum? Maybe. A better question, is the U.S. willing to take that risk with the financial system? I'm betting not, and I'm not going to bet against that either. Not at all. They're not going to risk that. Bitcoin's mining revenue per, I don't know, what is this, their hash rate, I'm assuming, recovers to mid-May level when price was around 45,000. The global hash rate is unlikely to bounce back to its all-time high anytime soon, meaning there is less competition among miners who are still online, which means they're able to generate more Bitcoin, probably. That's how I would take that. The BIS calls for CBDCs based on digital identities. From a practical perspective, the BIS says that the most promising CBDC design would be one tied to a digital identity, requiring users to identify themselves to access funds. They want to know who you are. They don't want you laundering money. You know, there's it's getting this know your customer type vibe is very serious. Like soon we will be digitized, people. I'm telling you. BOJ to pilot digital currency rollout in August. The Bank of Jamaica, now on the cusp of its much-awaited central bank digital currency, says that it will pilot a rollout of the service across financial institutions starting next month. That's awesome. Congrats to you guys. That'll probably do a lot for your economy down there. Reserve Bank of New Zealand to consult on potential CBDCs. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand will explore the potential for a CBDC as part of a series of consultations to be carried out by the end of the year. One paper will explore the potential for working alongside cash as a form of government-backed money. They want to consult on issues key to the future of how New Zealanders pay and save. Other papers will focus on issues arising from cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. The future will undoubtedly involve less cash, and the potential for a CBDC to help address some of the downsides of reducing physical cash is something we want to explore. Their central bank joins its counterparts in the world's major economies in exploring the potential, with China leading the way. South Korea and Sweden both appear to have moved from exploration to testing in recent months. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff, guys. Here's the Bank for International Settlements, pretty much the central bank of central banks. Central bank digital currencies are an opportunity for the monetary system, and central banks are taking it. Check out the latest status of the central bank's initiatives. And we'll just open that up real quick. They have a photo here. I don't know why I opened up a new tab like that. And this just kind of shows you, you know, where's the live retail. So you got some stuff down in the islands. You got the retail piloting ongoing. Some of the retail piloting that's complete. Retail research. And then, you know, a lot of people that aren't really there yet. But, I mean, this some big areas, some big names on there looking into this stuff, guys. We'll continue on. France is testing CBDC flows with Singapore using automated liquidity pool running on JP Morgan's Onyx blockchain. It was the first cross-border CBDC transaction to use an automated market-making smart contract. Super cool article there. Argentina now proposes allowing salaries to be paid in crypto. An Argentina lawmaker presented a bill this week to allow employees and those exporting services abroad to be paid in cryptocurrency. He presented the bill to allow Argentina's people whose local currency, the peso, currently suffers from roughly 50% inflation a year to help strengthen their autonomy and preserve the purchasing power of their remuneration. That's awesome. I mean, that is good, man. It's going to... I think Nigeria is another one of these places, or like Colombia and some of these other places who have really been hit by some of this crazy inflation. This can be a huge thing for them, man, and for their citizens. I mean, it can really help. Could really help in that regard. Tetra Trust receives nod to become regulated crypto custodian in Canada. So now they have a company certified by the Alberta government, becoming the country's first regulated custodian for crypto assets. It received its certification of registration on July 5th. Previously, the country's market for crypto custody was limited to U.S. providers and unregulated Canadian custodians. Canada has become a hotspot for crypto-related public companies, ETFs, and trading platforms. There's a pressing need for a regulated custody provider in Canada. I think there's a pressing need for regulation everywhere. Bank of America takes a deeper dive into crypto by creating their own research team. We are uniquely positioned to provide thought leadership due to our strong industry research analysis, market-leading global payments platform, and our blockchain enterprise. I'm trying to read two words at once. Currently, we do not lend against cryptocurrencies and do not bank companies whose primary business is cryptocurrency or the facilitation of cryptocurrency trading and investment. We are, however, partnered with Ripple. Anyway, crypto bill in India finally ready, says the finance minister. We're not going to read this, but let's hope that this is the end of that debacle, because that is an every other week situation. They are worse than China when it comes to not making up their mind. Goldman Sachs-backed Circle Pay is going public in a SPAC deal that values the crypto financial service firm at $4.5 billion. No coincidences there. They're getting the first nod as far as what they're doing. Really cool. It talks about they raised almost $500 million in one of the biggest funding rounds in crypto history. They declined to comment on the company's valuation. Fellow stablecoin issuer Paxos was valued at 2.4 after raising $300 million. As we look at what we're building, we just see an incredible opportunity to grow rapidly, and grow around the world. And what I think is awesome about it, they just launched on all these different networks now. They can be issued on. Tether's got all this scrutiny going on. I mean, I think USDC is poised in a way that they could really just come in and almost patch a really bad situation. We'll listen to them actually talk about it a little bit and see what he has to say.
New this morning, fintech firm Circle is going public via a SPAC with Concord Acquisition Corp. Shares in Concord Acquisition up sharply on this news, valuing Circle at $4.5 billion. Joining us now is Jeremy Allaire, Circle co-founder, chairman, and CEO. Jeremy, great to see you today.
Great to see you, Melissa. Thanks for having me on.
Why go public?
You know, the market that we're in, this digital currency market, as you know, has just seen incredible growth, really over many years, but that growth has been accelerating, and we've seen the adoption of USD coin, which is the digital currency, the dollar digital currency that we principally operate, skyrocket. It's grown 55x over the last 12 months. The amount of USDC in circulation has grown to almost 26 billion, and it's driving incredible growth as a company. And as we look at what we're building a platform and a set of services for major corporations, financial institutions, and others to build on, we just see an incredible opportunity to grow rapidly and grow around the world. And we think that this set of transactions and becoming a public company, I think, really sets us up to be a trusted platform in this digital currency industry.
So you're going to use the proceeds to grow. In what specific areas and where?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many exciting things happening with the business right now. We've launched a new set of products and services on top of what we've done with USDC. We're seeing very significant demand for those, and really seeing that demand coming from around the world. So we're investing aggressively in product development, in engineering. We see that we're in the early stages of the innovation curve in these crypto economic systems and technology. So there's an incredible amount we want to do in terms of product and technology as blockchain finance becomes the backplane or the backbone of the global financial system. And then, of course, very significant sales, marketing, customer operations, and of course, we want to do that around the world.
You think that guy's fired up at all? Crypto price warning. Goldman Sachs issues surprise future of Bitcoin and Ethereum prediction. Wall Street giant Goldman Sachs has predicted Ethereum has the potential to eclipse Bitcoin in the coming years. Keep in mind, guys, there's a lot of people that have said, and I'm one of them, once Bitcoin is surpassed, it will no longer matter. There is crypto out there that can do everything it can do and more. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's reality. So anyway, Mad Money's Jim Cramer moves from Bitcoin to Ethereum since it's more of a currency. I showed you guys this clip the other day, but he says, and the reason why I'm showing you guys this stuff is the Ethereum narrative is taking off from the mainstream right now, and it's noticeable. So just pay attention to that because they're really ramping it up. I like Ethereum because people actually use it much more to be able to buy things. I'm going to continue to buy Ethereum. I just think it's got a little more game because when you go buy an NFT, anything like that, everybody wants Ethereum. It's more of a currency. And he's not wrong about that. Ethereum is an extremely developed ecosystem. Speaking of how developed it is, the highly anticipated Ethereum hard fork locked in for launch. And I believe it said it would be the beginning of August. August 4th is what they're saying. This should be huge for them. If you want to look into some of the upgrades and stuff, feel free to do so. I'm not going to go through this whole article, but this is big news for Ethereum, which is big news for everybody. Poland's finance watchdog has issued a consumer warning about the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance. The Polish financial Supervision Authority published a statement stressing that the company's operations are unregulated in Central European countries. I didn't realize that I did not have this open. We're not going to go through it anyway. You got the gist of it, and we couldn't read that. I guess it could be translated, but going along with that, Santander blocks Binance payments for UK customers. The bank said that it's heeding the FCA's warning about Binance. Binance's UK woes fuel migration to rival crypto exchanges, says report. Bitstamp, which is based in Luxembourg, has seen customer numbers grow by 138% since this started. Kraken and Gemini are gaining clients. And now China has blocked Binance. Binance has joined the list of websites that are blocked behind the country's Great Firewall. So it does not even exist on the internet as far as China is concerned. What a lot of this plays into, in my opinion, is some of this stuff. Gensler had said before he's been waiting on Congress or Treasury. It's almost like he wants somebody else to finish this lawsuit for him. I feel like he thinks this is a mess. He knows everybody else knows it's a mess, and he doesn't want to be the one to slam the hammer down. I think that's why it keeps getting pushed back. I think they're waiting for Congress and the Treasury to get involved. But he has, which they won't have to wait much longer, as we're about to talk about in a second. But, he has said before where he thinks regulation should hit the crypto exchanges. He thinks that's one of the easiest and quickest and best ways to go about doing this stuff. He says these exchanges do not have regulatory framework at the SEC or our sister agency, the CFTC. Right now, there's not a market regulator around these exchanges, and thus there's really no protection around fraud or manipulation. He did not specify what it would look like or anything like that. And then you see the GameStop thing. I almost feel like this was allowed to happen too, just to hammer on this same narrative about investor protection, and then, the retail manipulation and whale manipulation, institutional manipulation. They just want to be able to lock this stuff down better. The system is broken, and there's no way to fix it. We gotta gut this thing and start over. And I'm not just, that's the financial system. It's a lot of systems. But he has said, now that I've rambled there for a minute, he has brought up going after Congress, going after the crypto exchanges. And then what's interesting is today we noticed we took a pretty big dip. It looked like the market was, really heading on its way up, which I'm still confident it is. Nobody take this as like FUD or anything, because I personally, not financial advice, but I am still bullish as can be over here. But Senator Warren has sent a letter that was addressing some things towards the SEC directly to Gary Gensler, and in the same letter she set a July 28th deadline for the SEC to figure out the issue of crypto regulation. As the cryptocurrencies markets continue to grow and expand, the lack of regulation to provide basic investor protection is unsustainable. That is a huge thing. There's a couple more quotes that we'll get into. I got another video coming your guys' way this afternoon, but that's going to do it for me. Regulation, China. There's a lot going on, guys. Make sure you're paying attention. All the links to all these articles will be in the description. That way, if you guys want to take the time to actually dive into some of the stuff, you can. I highly recommend it. And, see you guys on the next video.